now it comes to this part of the talk, which is going to carry us a little bit higher in the evolution of our brain. You know, when you have a head injury, severe head injury, your brain aged per se in certain part where it was. It's similar to the aging brain of people who are in the 80, 70, 90, whatever, 60. And just some thoughts here are interesting. The elderly brain usually outperforms the youthful brain in judgment. And then Confucius was so adamant about that, he said, a youth who does not respect his elders will achieve nothing when he grows up. And the true dementia only that people are talking about all the time these days, everybody is frightened they're going to get demented at 60, 65. I can reassure you, about only 5% of people above 65 get demented. So you have a good chance of living on. Now, unless you want to live to 100 or 110, your chances will go higher up. So just again, one of the sequelae of head injury is severe dementia. And this can occur when memory and language, or two of those together, are skilled. I just threw those slides here to tell you that the future of, besides prevention of head injury, is going to be chemical. And then it's going to be, everything has to be chemical at the end of the day. And this is one of the most common dementia, of course, is still Alzheimer. And you get other stuff down. I put it here just to emphasize, like Alzheimer, which is damaged brain per se, from something else, it's also a chemical business. And drugs are being used now for that. You have good chance of living 122, and like the woman in France, and then you can have good gene and live for a long time. Anyway, now you have to stay sharp. And then you have to stay sharp by protecting your brain. I will tell you how to protect your brain in the second part of this lecture. And then you can eat all these interesting items that people talk about. And then you can feel young. It may protect the brain injured patient, I don't know. But these are things that you can do. Protect your brain primarily if you are sporting by helmeting. And then if you are going to dive in a pool, see if it is shallow, water or not. And you look at the ATV, you look at the helmet, and you look, don't go through the frozen and unfrozen pond. All these things are important. Think first before you do any of those things to protect your brain. The hope is this. As I said initially in the beginning here, that we thought we are fixed, rigid, and then we cannot regenerate cells. This is false. We have so-called stem cell neurons, which are hidden deep into the temporal lobe, in the olfactory tract, olfactory bulb, and deep inside the brain in the caudate nucleus. Those neurons can regenerate, create pathway to come in and connect. Those pictures I show you of connection is the most important thing in rehabilitation. And this is why we say time. Of course, time can kill, but time will cure. And then when they ask you a patient who is unconscious, how long is going to get him back to wake up, to communicate, etc. When you look at those anatomy and those chemicals that we don't know nothing about, it takes time. And time is not like an appendix. Time is in months. Time is in years. How long did it take him to recover and stand in front of you today and give you a lecture? It took him a long time. The only drawback, he could have done it better if he had physiotherapy in Ottawa. Therefore we bring you here now. Anyway, so these are site of hope, neurogenesis site. These are the one I've been talking about, the neuron, which are inside the ventricle in the hippocampus. They can, given the right contact, what it is. This is why I'm telling you we don't know nothing yet about the brain. What kind of connection? Do you need some garlic infusions per se to connect those chemicals? So we have hope. This is why we see people have come out from severe head injury for that. And then we move higher in the evolution of our brain, and this is coming, and it's here. The computer, which with speed and intelligence, they attend to Earth's many unsolved problems. Without that gadget in front of me, without that little memory stick here, I won't be able to give you what I'm giving you here. And then in 2045, it is projected that the machines will reach a pivotal movement and they have to make a decision. They will serve humanity, people say, and rather than challenging it and fighting it. Those who have seen the Matrix, this is not all up in the air. They are all true things happening. So the content of human brain may be transferable to a metallic brain, and people may reach what they think about as functional mortality. And this is what you're going to see in the future. You're going to see wired up situation, and then we are still at the virginal embryonic level in our understanding of the brain. And then Bill Gates, at the end of this first topic of first part of this lecture, nobody alive today will live to see the day when computer becomes sophisticated enough to pass for human. And this is what we talked about family and charging in the rehabilitation of a head injury people. People have become socially disengaged completely. Text me, ta 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 ta. No talk. And then earphone. Now people are saying brain tumor. Mobile phone, computer. We have become, what have we become? I'm not going to talk about it in this lecture. So there's going to be better brain coming out in the evolution of our brain. There's going to be availability of neurochemical in the brain, which will increase the amount of oxygen. The brain needs more oxygen than any organ to neuron and stimulate the spread of neuronal connection. You will have drugs for focusing, memory. That's what I'm talking about in rehabilitation, and mental endurance. And there are some example, little bit of example, some of the little breakthrough drug, which helped in Alzheimer and which helped in decrease your level of protein, like caffeine, for instance. And this is, again, higher up in the evolution of the brain, there are transcranial magnetic stimulation can be done now to alter mood and memory. Severe head injury patient nowadays who read Reader's Digest sometimes looks and see the physician in Quebec was asked to see that patient was unconscious for a long time from a head injury. And they said, why don't you try to stimulate part of the brain with magnetic thingy, which he did. And he said, well, he got better a little bit. So there are things that we are trying to grasp at. Implant, put an implant perhaps to regenerate and stimulate the activity of certain brain. And then the new cells that we put in, for instance, for implant, can change the genetic code and return the cells to their host. So there is plenty of things yet. We are at the beginning of understanding the brain. I think the future of chemistry is going to help all these rehabilitation, but we still emphasize that prevention is the most important thing. What's the next step in all this? Nobody can make a clear prediction about computer, about the future of the body and the brain. And the evolution may take two tracks, you know. The computer is going to go this way, we're going to go this way. Computer may help us, seemingly, according to those people who knows more than I, that the computer is not going to kill the human. I don't know about that, but I mean, so the picture of the brain anatomy nowadays in the 21st century, 2011, is fuzzy. Question that we don't know. But there are hopes in understanding brain function. Now, we come to the second part of the talk, which is about head injury. These are lovely cards with them. I don't want to tell you how many injured people in Canada, you know it better. 37,000 Canadian brain and spinal injury per year. These are the ones that we know of. There are approximately maybe 90,000 more who've had concussion the way we understand it in a second, and then who are passed as so Star of David or something like that, that's all. And so we'll see about it. The cost is phenomenal. $7 to $8 million in the long medical and life cost earning. We are not talking about those severe head injury. I don't want to talk about those. You know, everybody knows about severe head injury, about the car marking the face and producing smashing of this and that. In an analysis which was done by one of our nurses a long time ago who got her master in head injury from 1985 to 1999, gave us a good information about head injury, traumatic brain injury, to be modern incidence. In Newfoundland, 73.8, not 100% statistic accuracy, but enough to give us an idea. So we run less than the United States. Don't forget, the United States, probably those 30% more are gunshot wound to the head, which are realized to that. So it is about 73 per 100,000. These are the gross ones. Those are the ones which had been tracked and admitted to the hospital and looked after and operated on or not. And then most of them, male are certainly still more than female, 1,870, look at the bottom one, and 860 female. And the young age group, okay, 0 to 15, these are the brain which is mushrooming and getting active and is being hit. 16 to 24, 25 to 44. So these are young brain which are done. These are by age and sex statistics of this period of year there. And also by male and female statistic MVA. MVA will go about 18.6%. I will give you a better one now, better slide. This is just female and male, but I'll give you the etiology of those. MVA about 27%, and you get car and truck, 18.6%, skidoo. This, don't forget, this is 10 years ago. Now there's something on the increase. We finish with one enemy, and we get another one. And so motorcycle, and the moose. The moose is on the rise now. In the last, for instance, 10 years, there is more moose accident, and that's why people are clapping to the government, please do something. We are getting our brains smashed up. Falls, 31%. And sports and play, 12%. These are admitted to hospital, concussed, whether for 2 days or for months or weeks. And who said Newfoundland, St. John's or Newfoundland? This is a peaceful country. Fight, 2.8% admitted. Bad, St. George's Street, whatever it is. But the bottom line is what is not on this slide. Now, you have a helmet or you don't have a helmet. If you don't have a helmet, you're going to have increase in your traumatic brain injury. And now, after that, I think we have done well. I think from then on, the helmet has become such a focus that everybody is helmeting himself, and then the incidence is going to go down. And I've been practicing here for 42, 43 years, maybe and a half, I don't know. I have seen a dramatic change in head injury, traumatic brain injury incidence. Now when you see an accident, oh, gee, what's wrong? The ICU in the 1980 were full of head injury people because there was no such a thing as a helmet, as a alcohol, as a seat belt, as a alcohol uses, etc. And these are, I would say, even though there are scientific data collected from a lot of hospitals in Newfoundland, it's very hard to get the accuracy because of the documentation in the chart. Patient comes into emergency department. I say, well, he smells alcohol. Now you have to have 600 permission to tell him, can I take breath alcohol from him, and so on and so forth. Anyway, but this gives you a rough idea what we are dealing with. Prevention has made a great impact.